Planet Zoo adventurers as we continue our revamp of our zoo. It's our first and really only zoo because it is, as we've said, one we're going to care for and continue with and really try and improve as time goes on, even if we kind of try brave new things on top of the things we've already done. We want to get this one right. So what we are doing, for those that are a little bit behind, is our first 6 episodes really focused on us getting into Planet Zoo. It was loading the game, it was building some exhibits, and it was trying really hard to make them look nice and get used to the controls, get used to the game, get used to the behaviours, find out exactly what we need to do with our animals, whilst trying to build a good zoo at the same time. Now we have learned a lot about the game in the first 6 episodes, and of course the last couple of episodes we decided it was trash in what we'd done, and it was trash. It was absolute trash. And this is better. It's not perfect by any means, but this is better. So what we've done is we're expanding the zoo first. We're expanding over in this Asia Indian area over this side. We've introduced some pandas, we've introduced some red pandas, we've introduced some Bengal tigers, and we are just moving over our Indian rhinos, which were part of our safari over the other side, because I don't know why we don't have African rhinos, but we don't have African rhinos. So we are in the process of doing that first, get them over here, and then we will build one more exhibit. We are looking to bring some monkeys in. We're going to trial a ice and snow area, which is next on the list of things to do, because it's not something we've done yet. We've used the heaters to sort of keep them warm when it snows, but we've not really done the opposite for animals that particularly need it all year round. You know, we can go a couple of years without it snowing, whereas obviously sunshine and heat is definitely an all the time thing. So this is the Indian rhino area, which we're doing now. We're just going to finish off this building. We've got the facilities at the back here, which we're going to cover with the trees. And then we're going to have the entrance, main area entrance here, which people will be walking into the Asia area. As you can see over the back, if you've followed the last couple of episodes, you've seen the builds we've done on there, which is quite a lot. So we want to get this bit enclosed, get it closed off, get this bit finished before we move over to this side. So there we are. That is our Asia area so far. We're going to have to move this path. We want to make this quite big actually. It's going to be sort of a monkey island. We know you can put the water in, you could put the null barriers in. What the null barriers are, as we said last time, they're barriers, invisible barriers if you will, because obviously the monkeys won't be able to get over the water. However, we'll probably put physical barriers in, because we have had a few problems when we trial the null barriers. It's something we do want to trial at another point, and of course we will link this round here. Now there is no doubt that these little generator things, which you can see there by the Nile monitors, they're going to cause a few problems because people are looking at them and are not particularly happy with them. So yeah, we are going to have to move those eventually as well, but if we get the Asia area open, then we'll be able to deal with these things afterwards. Because of course that is where we will start the refurb. So the Japanese Macaque, Japanese thing, the monkey is going to be going on this island. So this is going to be the island for it. As you can see, it does list out its natural habitat on the Zoopedia. And this is where it's going to go. Now we are going to put, as we said, a physical barrier in here. These aren't climbable ones, so they're not going to be able to climb over them, but there is going to be water here as well. So I'm not expecting too many problems from it, to be honest with you. And that's the enclosure. Put some water around. And yeah, this is going to be quite, well, what appears to be quite a large space for them. However, once we've actually got a building inside and we've got some climbing materials, and I think we'll change the landscape a bit as well, so it's a bit up and down, so they can have a little bit of a run up and down. And you know, we are aware we can build, and you know, we have tried to build quite a lot of our own things, but when it comes to climbing frames, there's some really good ones preset in the game, and it just seems really silly to waste loads of time building them when we can do it otherwise. So these are the coolers we're putting in. For those that haven't seen, there are coolers, there are heaters. They can be set to different temperatures. And we are going to have to go around and we are going to have to set them all to a lower temperature to make sure this island cools right down. So there you can see the radius, and you can see that we haven't quite got enough in. It needs to go completely ice. So we're going to have to move some around here, put some more down the other side, and make sure we can cover this off. Then of course we need to set them. So we checked on the Zoopedia to see what they had to be. They had to be -18 or below. So we're just going to set them back to sort of -18, -20 to make sure the island is cool enough for them. Because there's absolutely no point in bringing them in and then being too hot and us having problems straight away. Now I believe as well you can use these coolers when guests complain they're too hot. So if you have a safari sort of, a biome, if you will, an African biome, you can use these to keep passers-by cool. I can't know how much they cost, to be honest. I imagine they cost quite a lot to run. If you're in franchise mode, I'm not entirely sure they're going to be particularly worth doing. However, if you're in sandbox mode, and obviously you're not too worried about the money because you're in sandbox, then it's certainly worth doing to keep guest happiness up. Now, where we're on a European biome, to be honest, some people say they're hot at some points, but usually a drink does it for them. We don't need much more. Now, we're going to make a flat bit as well. We do want to build a hard area for this whilst we are looking through to see what kind of things they need. I think ultimately, much like we've done with all the new enclosures, we are going to build an kind of indoor arena area for them. We'll have some play equipment in here as well as some straw, some hay, sorry, so they can have it as a home, have it as hard bedding, have it as kind of a a private area away from people. We have noticed actually that the red pandas get quite stressed. That's the first time we've seen stressed animals. Over on that side, they sort of come out of one side of the pen and then head towards the building where they feel a bit stressed, and once they're inside the building they're okay again. So it does make a massive, massive difference. Now, where we are off the ground here, and we are actually building on the kind of surface, if you will, it's not flat, we are actually going to put some building materials in here. So a few more building materials from, these can live in groups of up to 50. 50 seems massive. We probably won't have that many in here. We may well have a breeding pair, and then we'll have to keep an eye on them going forward, see exactly how that works out. But let's get some in here, make sure they're happy, and then change the biome over. The reason why we haven't actually snowed it all yet is when you do the terrain change, it does seem to default back to the natural biome, which is grass. So we will get them in, we will make sure they're happy, we'll make sure that they do need all snow, which they pretty much do, and we'll get it all covered here. Now then, one thing we've learned here, and you'll see us try it in a minute, but one thing we've learned here is that if you haven't got the coolers and you haven't actually got the temperature low, you can't have snow on the ground. It's just not how it works. The actual snow on the ground is realistic. Where of course on Planet Coaster you can choose the ice and snow and you can put it literally anywhere. On this game you can't do that. And I have a really frustrating moment when I'm trying to colour the rock in a minute, and you'll see that I keep going over it with the snow and it just doesn't snow over. And it did take me a while to actually realise that you can't have the snow there unless you've got the coolers. So it does add a little bit of a realism to the game, because if it's not cool enough, you can't have snow. And it may seem really stupid, it may seem really obvious, but again, from years of playing Planet Coaster, it's just not been the case. You can put it anywhere. And I've really put the wrong plant in here. That's not gone well at all. Absolutely not gone well at all. I read the wrong one. Right, let's put the right plants in there. They can have a little bit more as well. The great thing about these trees is that they are climbable, so the monkeys can climb these tall trees as well as climb in their climbing frames, and it should give them enough to do. I think the frustrating part when it comes to having monkeys and climbable things, particularly with trees and what have you, is that it doesn't add to their enrichment. It doesn't add to their toy enrichment that they can actually climb up a tree, because arguably we could completely fill this with bushes that they can't climb in. It would fulfill the natural habitat or the habitat of it, and we wouldn't have any problems. But yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. We're going to put the trees in, and we're going to make sure that they can have a climb, and hopefully people can see them. We've been and watched all the trees and bushes. So that's the plan anyway. Now we are going to get this built, and we are going to build a raised platform going over. But we're also going to put a couple of shops to make sure that people kind of stop by and have a look. But yeah, the enclosure's come along quite nicely. Now this is the rock work that we built. You'll see in a minute that we try and put snow on it, and it just doesn't work. It kind of works slightly on the edge, but yeah, it just disappears. Just disappears. So yeah, really frustrating moment in the game that was. Really frustrating moment. But we moved on. We moved on from this. Whilst it's doing my absolute head in, we moved on from this, and we decided to build the platform that people can look at the monkeys. And as you can see, it actually is going to go slightly over the monkey cage and really quite close to this. On the decision, I decided I don't think they can jump. I really don't think they can jump. But I decided to move some of these pieces over to make sure they couldn't get too close or kind of get out. Because obviously we know they can't go through the water, but we want to make sure that they can't jump onto people. Pretty sure they can't, but we'll play it safe. We'll play it safe. So on top of this, as we said, we are going to have a building as well. We're going to have a building around here. It'll have a viewing area. We're not actually going to make it completely enclosed, although we do get quite a lot of rain. We want to kind of make it a little bit more open. We'll have some food outlets here, we'll have a little bit of scenery as well. And of course, we're going to have an umbrella at the end and make sure it's all educationed up, ready for people to come. And this will mark the end, for now, of the Asia section. So what we're planning on doing is getting this area open. Once we've got this area open, we're going to revisit the African area. We're going to have a little bit of a move around in the African area to try and create some space. We really want to enhance the lion enclosure. I don't particularly think it's big enough, and I don't particularly think it's great looking. So we want to enhance that. We want to make it a bit bigger, put a few more items in there for them, get a nice building over it. And of course, one of the priority keys at the moment is to move the facilities out of the way. The facilities is what's causing most problems in guest feedback, and of course it does lead to refunds because people can come in and ask for refunds, and yes, it is causing ultimate problems. So we want to get this one built, we want to open this area, make sure people are happy. I can't see any reason why they won't be happy. I think there are a few kind of thoughts that go into it. A few of the thoughts are, you know, the view from here is okay, I give this a 3-star view. I'm sure anyone playing the game will relate with these. You could have the most amazing display in the world and it will still be a 3-star view. So I am expecting a bit of that, but ultimately I think if feedback is positive, then you know, it's a great place to be in, and it really kind of boosts us to how we go forward. But as we said, you know, we want to make this look a little bit more realistic. Yeah, we can't master build like some of the people can, but we are trying to sort of, you know, make it look a lot better than what we had. And of course, you know, we want to get guest complaints down. Still can't colour in that bit, still can't. So we're going to put some plants on there. We want to get guest complaints down ultimately, and we want to make sure that people have a good time when they come to the zoo. Now, we've seen a lot of people that talk about layouts of the zoo and, you know, different ways of doing it and whether or not you should have a flat layout. And I think the thing is, you know, you could look at zoo maps and you could look at, you know, parks and other places and copy it like from like. But you'll probably find that it might be really difficult to hide some of the buildings. And I think the buildings is the biggest thing that people have problems with is hiding those. They just in the way where you want them, they're just in the way. So, you know, I don't want to look and necessarily gauge by any zoos. I don't really want to look at any and think, you know, that looks good or anything. I kind of want to build it as I go, and I want to make sure that we, you know, get it right as we go. There are going to be times where I put something somewhere and we're going to have to change it. But I think this kind of circle that we've done here with the Asian area is going to work really, really well. And, you know, ultimately we can have some hills and we can have some more trees behind here and get sort of the 10-15 metre gap needed behind the back of the buildings when we do finally expand the park going forward. And, you know, we can have a big enclosure of animals as well going out to where the backs of these areas are, so people still don't see behind. But yeah, ultimately, you know, we want to make it look as realistic as possible. We want the layout to be clean. We want to make sure that we can power and water everything without the guests getting involved. And it's worked quite well here, because as you can see, the staff path down the back, you know, it has worked really, really well, and we've got this big space in the middle. Now, the idea is this big space in the middle is something we will develop in the future. Not right now, but it is something we'll develop in the future, and we do have an idea for it. But you'll just have to hold on to that. It's not a priority idea by any means, but it is an idea. We're going to link that, get that a bit closer to the staff path. I'll just put a little building over this. I've got to the point now with all these facilities. I know that if they're far enough away, guests can't see them, but I can see them. So I do want to get them all built in as well. It's not necessarily, but we want to do it. And it's, you know, quite easy to put a nice little building on there, put a couple of windows on, and it just looks a lot better than what was there beforehand and just having it open. So yeah, that's the way we want to play that. It's definitely something that we want to do and we're keen on doing. So this one we've got to have here in order to service the water. We've also got to have it here to service the shops as well, because the shops we've put in our viewing area, you know, we'd have to put a facilities behind them in a future development area, which we don't particularly want to do. You know, all the big enclosures have vets, staff rooms and everything behind. Yes, of course, we could theme inside of these. We could make these look a lot better inside, but I just don't see the point. I really don't see the point of it. You know, even when you're kind of got the park or yourself, I have no intention to go inside of these buildings. You know, I want to look at the animals. I want to look at the animals being happy. And I want to kind of look on the outside and make sure that people think it's happy. So yeah, we're not taking shortcuts in terms of how it looks externally, but internally we are making a couple of shortcuts. Nothing major though, just a few. So we'll get this all built in, and this will be something you can see obviously from the other side. You'll see this massive building at the back. It kind of looks like their house, even though it's not their house. And we'll put some decoration on the front as well and fill in all the bits. And of course here we'll continue to film the actual enclosure. So we put some more trees in. We're going to put rocks all around. We want to, you know, hide the barrier so much. I know we didn't have to use this barrier, but we have used this barrier just to be double safe. Every time something escapes and people go running, it causes a lot of problems. And you know, to be fair, particularly on this new area, I just kind of want to get it safe so that we're not having any escapes or any problems. We want to make sure that people are coming in and really liking the area, and then maybe we'll take some chances further down the road in some of the other areas once these ones are established. So yeah, we'll get some rocks in, some lovely little rock work. You know, I know in Planet Coaster people use rock work all the time in Planet Coaster. I never really use it, to be honest with you. Whilst I find it good, I find the terrain tool so much more helpful, particularly when you've got so many different things you can, you know, colour it in with. But here, I definitely think it works a lot better. I really, really do think it works a lot better. So now we're actually going to open this area, and we can see that people automatically want to pay more to get in. It's staggering. We're going to put some more donation boxes in. We're just going to make sure the animals are all right. And yeah, we're just going to, yeah. We'll try and, yeah. So we're going to try and sort out this path. I think the entrance area actually might be something we need to tackle next. Again, when we opened it, much like Planet Coaster, I think where we played Planet Coaster so much, you know, we've kind of taken some really bad habits from there where, you know, even when it gets busy, people disperse really quickly and then get in queue lines and things. Obviously here, they're not doing that. They're not getting in queue lines. So when we've got small paths, it's a real problem. It's a real issue. But now we're open. We're ready to go. Okay, so yeah, people are quite happy. All the people that say there's a facility problem are pointing back to those ones which we knew about, and that is something we're going to have to look at in the future. So there is a little bit of shelter as well for these people when it rains, which is quite nice. We'll make sure they're all happy. They can stay under there, and yeah, they're causing the problems. Yeah, people are liking the views. We've got a few happy faces, which is great news, and that's exactly what we wanted. So happy days, people, happy days. Now this area is going to be next. We think there is a bug with the game. I think there is still a bug with the game as well, where people aren't riding the transport rides, and you know, there's not as much to see, in honesty, at the moment, because we've taken away the Indian rhinos, and of course we are going to be moving the other animals as well, getting rid of the flamingos, ultimately getting rid of the Nile monitors before we continue to do that area. So let's make sure everyone's happy. Okay, we haven't got enough. Okay, so we haven't put any heaters in. That's good. So we've got the snow. We need to get some heaters in for these animals. It's amazing. We did remember the coolers, but we didn't get any heaters in. So we're going to get some heaters in and make sure all these enclosures are right. Make sure everyone's happy, which they seem to be. I don't think the pandas mind, actually. No, pandas are quite happy with the snow. Oh, no, they're not. No, I lied. The pandas aren't happy with the snow. Now they've realised it's snowing. We need to put some heaters in for them as well. And of course it will melt the grass, so we can actually see where we've not put enough in on the heat map, and indeed without the heat map, because you can see that the snow remains on the ground. But yeah, people are happy. People are happy, but there is a lot more work we need to do. It's great we've got this area open. We still have a massive gridlock at the entrance here, and that is mainly due to people coming to look at the crocodiles. So yeah, we've got to get wider paths in. We have got to redevelop Africa. But what do you think? Let us know what you think. Our Asia area is open, our Indian Asian area. We've got some new species in. They're quite happy. They're getting on with life without any issues. We've got some much better viewing areas. We've got much wider paths. We've got some new shops. I have no idea what happened to that bit of red, but I have no idea what happened to that. Let's straighten that out. We've got loads more going on over here, and we've definitely trialed some different bits. So whilst we have a quick look around, make sure the animals are happy that we do have, because we are going to have to move some of these away. We are going, I don't know why these keep getting boxed up as well. They keep getting boxed up. We're going to have to lower this. We did have it high, as we said, but it constantly says that they've escaped the cage. We are going to lower it. We're going to unbox them all, make sure they're happy. And yeah, while we finish off here, let us know what you think in the comments. Is there anything else we could do? And is there anything else you'd like to see in this area, or indeed us attempt in the African area? Which I think next episode we are going to hit the front entrance. We just need to widen the paths a bit. We just need to get that much more up and with it. And then we're going to hit the African area and really try and bring that in line with the rest of this. We are going to have to move these crocodiles as well into the Asia area. So yeah, loads to do. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to come back for the next one.